Day 2 of testing in Bahrain, and having sat out yesterday in favour of teammate Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez was keen to get out on track. But the Red Bull man was pipped to the pit exit by an eager Fernando Alonso, the two-time champ, the first driver to hit the circuit as the light went green. Perez laid down some rubber, but it wasn't long before he was back in the garage, the RB20's brakes overheating. That was a quick fix, and he needed another one in the afternoon. The Red Bull appeared to lose power on track, with Checo forced to coast home. Whatever caused that, it was soon fixed. And Perez seemed to dial the car in as the time ticked by. His final lap a very impressive 6/10 faster than his teammates' best from day one. Lewis Hamilton was another to skip the first day in order to have a full one in the cockpit today. Armed with teammate George Russell's data and post-session reports, which were largely positive, the 7-time world champion put the Mercedes through its paces, locking up at turn 8 and surviving a nasty steering snap at turn 4 as he investigated the W15's limits. The morning session was red flagged just shy of the 2.5-hour mark. Charles Leclerc's Ferrari dislodged a drain cover, which Hamilton then ran over, causing debris to spray across the track. The unlucky Monegasque then hit said debris, damaging the SF24's floor, which had to be replaced. After a lengthy delay and an in-depth inspection, the session was abandoned early to allow time for repairs, and the afternoon session extended by an hour. The stoppage led to some additional casualties. A few teams opted to switch their drivers during the early break, a time-consuming action that necessitates seat and sometimes pedal changes. Others gave the morning pilot some additional laps before making the switch. Oscar Piastri, Zhou Guanyu, Yuki Tsunoda, Nico Hülkenberg, Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly all had to settle for the shortened session. But 3 drivers got the whole day: Hamilton, Perez and Logan Sargeant. The American driver has admitted that Williams didn't get through their entire run plan on day 1, but said there were positives and that the FW46 was a move in the right direction. Pushing on the second day, he ran wide at turn 11 and later suffered a lock-up at turn 10. His best time on the soft compound was good enough for P11. Carlos Sainz got his go in the Ferrari partway through the second session. Leclerc had set the fastest time of the morning prior to the floor damage, and the smooth operator hit the heights too, with a super quick lap on the C4 soft tyres, the fastest of testing so far, and just 0.2 down on Max Verstappen's pole time for the 2023 Bahrain Grand Prix. Sainz was quick everywhere, including at one point on the pit lane approach, the Spaniard slamming on the brakes to slow the Ferrari down ahead of the speed trap. After a mandated safety car test, a few drivers treated the cameras to a simulated rolling restart. Sparks flew as we got to see a cavalry charge down to the first corner. Having been second fastest on day 1, Lando Norris was quick again in the McLaren, despite a gust of wind pushing the MCL 38 wide at one point. The car and driver seemed hooked up, and his best lap on day 2 was good enough for P4 as the flag fell. Lance Stroll continued Aston Martin's decent start to testing, the Canadian good for P7 on the medium compound. And Valtteri Bottas quietly went about his business, the Flying Finn pushing the Kick Sauber to a very respectable P9 on the same tyres. Esteban Ocon suffered a huge lock-up at turn 1, but later put in a lap good enough to make it onto page 1 of the timing sheets, which looked like this. Sainz on top on the softs from Perez, Hamilton and Norris. Then came Daniel Ricciardo, also on the red rubber. He was ahead of Leclerc, Stroll, Ocon, Bottas and Piastri. P11 for Sargeant, also on the softs. Then came Alonso, Zhou Guanyu, Gasly, Magnussen, Hülkenberg and Tsunoda.